please.
Enjoying your night so far? Fantastic. It's about to get even better. We've got a tremendous headline act. I'm going to bring it straight on. He's so good. I love him to bits. You've been an amazing crowd so far. The best we've had in 2012, definitely. So, no, genuinely, you've been joyous and you make the night with your energy, so let's give him a really warm welcome and he'll do great stuff if you give him great stuff back. So, Mitchell Brothers, let's start here. Simon Noisy. See you there, man. Next row, next row, next row. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Matt Price.
As well. Have they seen me before? Is that what it was?
Yeah, they've seen you before.
I'm sure.
I've seen you before in Ocelot.
Oh, good. Well, thank you very much. Well, that's all right. One groupie, one village idiot. That's lovely. I've done this before. I haven't even got on stage. I hope you don't want me this fucking premature. Jesus Christ. So, I'm a fat man and I tell jokes, you're looking like I'm going to eat you and not in a good way, my darling. We're going to be fine, all right? Try not to worry. I'm nothing like this in real life. Seen that Cheyenne? We're talking to you earlier on. I didn't understand a fucking word of that, my darling, but don't worry, it's alright. We're going to get on. It's no window, I don't even want to go there, to be honest with you. So my name's Matt, and I'm pleased to be here in Swindon again. I was here a year ago. Weirdest fucking experience of my life, I'm not going to lie to you. And now we're back. And you're staring like you did last year. So it's lovely to know. That's all right. It's great to be back. You were talking earlier on, the two sort of wrestling fellas here, going, I've fucking seen him before, he was shit. So that's nice, isn't it? And yeah, I think Paul's left.
What's in this guy?
He said he was having a squeeze.
He said he was having a squeeze. Oh, that's the most vulgar thing I've heard in such a long fucking time. He's squeezing one down. Is that what he's doing? That's fucking fantastic. That's all right. I was going to say, in real life, I couldn't start talking to an attractive woman. Do you know, it takes a lot of courage for a man like me to put down his binoculars and step out of the bushes. Technically, Joe, yeah, one person clapping sounds like a cow going for a shit. Thanks a lot, my ass. I appreciate it. Right, we're going to see where we go. My name's Matt. I'm actually from Cornwall originally. It's a pleasure to be in the West Country. You can... Hey. Say that again, my darling. Oh no, it's all right. Well, it sounded like you, or a very shit impression of you. No, I'm glad to be here. It's all right. It's lovely to see you all. Everything's going to be fine. You can help me. Who's been to Cornwall?
Yeah.
Don't be if you're not in school. It's going to be fine. Cornish people are all right. We have a different mentality to anywhere I've ever been in my life. There was a sexual health survey in Cornwall. One of the questions was, how far is too far on a first date? And 3 people wrote, Manchester. We think differently, right? Differently, that's all it is. And usually I mention Cornwall and someone will shout out, "Ooh-ah!" like that. Can I just say on behalf of my nation, right? "Ooh-ah" is Captain Birdseye. Birdseye's from Devon. Right, now I've got nothing against rice pudding or fish fingers. There's a time and a place for these activities, however, right? If you want to do the Cornish dialect, all you have to do is speak as quickly as you can in one long, continuous sentence that's followed by a slightly sinister chuckle and a swear word. So, like, if you want to do the Cornish dialect, all you got to do is speak as quick as you can, one long continuous sentence, just followed by a slightly sinister chuckle and a swear word. Bastard! That's how we fucking do it. When I say I'm pleased to be here, I genuinely fucking mean it. Strap in, ladies and gentlemen. I spent 5 years of my life actually working in shitty dead-end call centre jobs. I don't know, you probably phoned them, right? I learned 2 things. One, the general public are fucking wankers. Present company accepted. I'm cool with you all and be cool back. But, you know, and 2, if somebody phoned me up and they were mad with me, I couldn't take them seriously if they had a nasal twang. I'm so angry. I could read a book, right? People used to go mad about the call queuing system, you know, to report a fault, press 1. To inquire about your bill, press 2. Press 3 for this, 4 for that. By the time they got through to me, fuck, they'd be mad. I had this guy phone up one day. He'd obviously been through the call queuing system, and he just starts unleashing. Oh, at last, a human voice. I was thinking, oh, at last, the nasal twang. 9.5 minutes I'll be waiting to get through to you. You are a human being, I'll take it, or are you a machine, right? Then he got really mad when I said, for a sarcastic response. So if you work in the call centre, you're not stupid. That's what I used to tell myself. I had a guy phone up from Cornwall one day to report a power cut. Now some of you might be thinking, oh, they have electricity in the mother country, right? It made me genuinely proud to be Cornish, and you can't always say that. I said to him, this is true, I said to him, can I take your postcode, please, sir? And he said, yeah, mate, because that's how we speak. Yeah, mate, it's TR4, 4FW. I said, oh, is that S for sugar? No, mate, it's F. For fuck me, I ain't got no electricity. Genuinely proud to be Cornish, man. I like small communities, I like villages as well, because you get interesting people in villages. I got a friend of mine in Wales in a place called Treorchy. Right, and this is typical village logic. I went to visit him last summer. He'd been sunbathing in his back garden, and he was telling me, oh, it was lovely, it was. You know, lying there in a pair of shorts, like, you know, my wife had gone in town. And then he paused for a second and went, I was going to have a crafty wank. But I was scared that Google might see me. No, you were going to duck down. You can hold your head high, Paul. Don't worry, my friend. Welcome back, brother. Nice one. You nearly pulled me off my fucking chair, man. Thanks so much. Jamie Flies. Oh yeah, this is it. This is coming down. I can believe that. I have no idea what that means. I'll look after you. It sounds non-consensual either way, but I'll move on now. Fuck me. He had a fight 3 weeks ago. You should see it. It's on YouTube, isn't it? Or on his camera phone. Yeah, I know. He battered the bloke. 3 punches. Yeah. That's why I'm not going to speak to you any fucking more. I'm going to ask you nice people a question. I already know the answer. I live in London at the moment, Wimbledon actually. And in Wimbledon we get like white kids who think them black. And I'm not going to go, do you hate those fuckers? Help me out. Let's have some fucking energy. Bear in mind I look like this, right? My girlfriend, and I have fucking got one, right? Reckons if I auditioned for the part of a rapist on Crime Watch, that I would get turned down for looking too authentic. Right? I went around to my friend's house one night to pick up a blanket. Right, that's a good fucking start to a story. Stopped off in Sainsbury's on the way home. I got some low-fat hummus, a jar of olives and some crusty wholemeal bread. I'm walking by the park. There's a gang of teenagers there drinking cider. One of them comes up to me and says to me, hey mate, I've got a knife. Now, if the kid has a knife, I only really have 2 options. A, run away. B, suggest that we pool our resources and have a picnic. I'm an only child. I'm not fucking sharing with anybody, right? I'm not a lover, not a fighter. I'm an eater now, right? Don't worry. He was a white kid. If you haven't seen this, don't worry. What like this? Have you seen that? I'll tell you what, Jamaicans call that chupsing or kissing teeth, right? When a Jamaican does it, it's cool. It's a sign of disdain. It means he's pissed off and ting. When a white kid does it, he's calling a cat. Then he called me, right, and I quote, true story, Paul, he called me Batty Boy Bumberclart. Now, Batty Boy means gay, Bumberclart means sanitary towel. He called me a gay sanitary towel, right? I was hurt and confused. Then he said something I'd never heard before. He went, I'm gonna blap you. Now, I didn't know what it meant, right? So I wasn't scared. I looked it up on the internet, on urbandictionary.com. Don't know how I ended up there. I was looking for porn. I'm gonna blap you, blap, B-L-A-P, the noise a gun makes when it fires. Blap, 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 blap. It could have been worse, you know, where I'm from, guns go bang. Had he said, I'm gonna bang you. There's going to be a lot of blood. I don't suppose you got a Batty Boy Bumberclart. That's one of the better gay sanitary towel jokes you're going to hear on the circuit, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the thing is, I like people, I do. You know, my whole point is this, I've watched MTV, you know, if you want to have a go at me, man, I fucking can't even run away. Do you know what I mean? I'd kill you for a fucking pasty, though, I'll tell you that. I weigh 20 stone. My best friend calls me obese one Kenobi. You know, I'm fucking proud of that. I used to have a body pop years ago. He said about dancing earlier on. Check this out. There we go. He fucking battered me. And you know, don't go around using language you don't understand just because you're thinking me, you sound like a bad boy. You know what? But really, and you know, I'm not going to put... In all my life, I've watched MTV, I've never met a black kid who thinks he's white. It's a good thing. You wouldn't go to a train station and see two cool black dudes wearing cagoules. One goes, oh look, Leroy, look, there's a train coming, quick, write the number down, you gay sanitary towel. and you know, they've got this thing in London as well, the gangs of youths, and sorry to make it about London, I'm going to come back to the West Country in a second, right? But they mark their territory according to the postcode they live in. That's ridiculous. It's called postcode wars. Each postcode has a ridiculous word attached to it. So like where I was living, it was E2, brap. Then you got the famous one, E3, bo. Then you got my favourite one, E9, boo. Which made me jump the first fucking time. Because you come to my postcode, I'll kill you blood. I go to your postcode, you kill me, you get me. No! It doesn't really work for where I'm from. I'm from Truro in Cornwall. TR1, who are? You shout, Pasty. Fuck me, I'm sorry, but only in Swindon. Excuse me, I'm sorry, but I've had all sorts of heckles in my time. Last year at Bar 12, I got this bloke on stage to tell jokes, right? And I sat in the audience sort of heckling him, and then he fell down the stairs in the middle of the gig. Didn't you, Paul? I didn't recognise you until earlier on when you come up to me and you went, hello, my name's Paul, I'm a kickboxer, and hard as fucking people tell me I'm funny sometimes. Repeated exactly the same banter prior to the gig as you did last year. Good. Fuck me. Everybody you know. I'm kind of hoping that my demographic was above the age of 9, but we're going to move on anyway. It's all bad. No, I'm joking with you.
Jeffrey's here.
Oh, no, he's all right, he's cool. I want to tell you something about Cornwall, and the reason I'm sort of laughing is because you make me smile, genuinely, you do. I've met, there's nothing like meeting genuine fucking characters who are just genuinely brilliantly funny. I used to work in a fish factory back home in Cornwall. Now imagine what that's like just for a second. A fish factory, right? It's fucking horrible. It was the roughest place in the whole of Cornwall. It was called Channel Foods. If you worked there, you were allegedly really stupid. I'll give you an example. There was a guy there called Dave, who was an ex-jockey, right? He fell off his horse mid-race. The horse had to be shot. Dave retired. My first day on the factory floor, I heard this voice shout out, Dave, you horse-murdering bastard! To most people, that's a sentence that can't possibly end well. What he actually said was, Dave, you horse-murdering bastard! What did you do at the weekend? Anything nice? Which in many ways is worse. And Dave replied, I did your mum. And the voice went, oh, I heard you tried, but you fell off. And sometimes I wish I was making this story up. It's fucking true. Like the voice belonged to a 25-stone man called Salad. He was 5'7" and he breathed really heavily. He used to carry a big sports bag around with him that was full of sweets and chocolate. Salad once went paintballing and ended up with concussion because his goggles steamed up and he ran into a tree. He was a lovable idiot, right? And I'm not being rude when I say this. He had this phobia as well. Even my grandma knew about it. He hated being overheard going to the toilet, right? Now, he was walking through town late one night. He was dying to go. He gets into a public toilet, gets in the cubicle. It's horrible, right? The coat hanger's been ripped off the door. There's a hole in the wall. There's graffiti everywhere. It's horrible. He sat down, was just about to go about his business when the guy in the cubicle next to him stuck his penis through the hole in the wall. So Salad hung his bag on it. It was like pervert's buckaroo, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if they liked you, they would slash your boots so that when you walked in through the footbath, the water would seep in and your feet would be freezing cold, right? There was one bloke on his birthday, because they liked him, they picked him up and they threw him into a giant vat of breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are quite sticky, and he stood there covered in breadcrumbs with a room full of fish packers singing, "Why do birds suddenly appear?" My favourite person was a guy called Scales. He was a massive bloke, nothing to do with fish. He'd go up to complete strangers, I'm not making it up. He would pick people up like this, lift them up like that, and tell them their exact weight. 14 stone 1, thanking you. And then he'd give a little bow. Women in nightclubs, 9 stone 3, thanking you. He was gifted and he was single, ladies and gentlemen. There was a guy called Chase Water Charlie, heartbreaker, life taker. Yeah, I know. No, but do you know what I mean, really? He liked virgins and he liked street fighting. Either way, if you met him, you'd end up bleeding and crying. What horrible legacy is that?
Blood clot.
I didn't hear what he said. I'm just more intrigued because it doesn't feel like a gig, it feels more like a workshop. A sort of a day release workshop, which I'm enjoying very much. I'm enjoying your company, I am. I can't, I'll be honest with you, I can't fucking figure you out. But then, you know, can't always do that, can you?
You're a Cornishman.
I am indeed. Thank you. Once again, only in Swindon. Overwhelming threats of violence. A man who's overly friendly. And nothing in between. Afterwards. No, I worry about offending people, you know, it's not my thing. I mean, sometimes you'll say something funny and you'll offend someone, you know, like my ex-girlfriend. Now, obviously, fictitious ex-girlfriend, but... it'll break your fucking heart in the end. First time we had sex together, didn't happen. But first, she got really... Did you lick your lips then? That's fucking horrible. But she got really angry with me when I ejaculated on her artificial limb. Yeah, I said, I'm sorry, I got off on the wrong foot. Now, I just still test her, just a tester. You knew it was coming, yeah, so did she. You should have seen the look on her fucking face. It always feels weird to be in front of an audience, and I mean this with love, of characters, and then talk about like a weird gig. But 3 years ago I did a gig at Broadmoor Maximum Security Hospital for the criminally insane. Because, you know, it's the 2nd of January. Would you lovely people like to hear the true story of that?
Yeah.
Is that alright?
The fictitious one.
Let's have the fictitious one. No, I'd rather tell the truth. But thank you anyway. Said like a slightly intimidating director. You're all familiar with Broadmoor, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know what the fuck it was. I didn't know what it was. I went 3 years ago, it's all online, you can see it. Broadmoor Maximum Security Hospital for the criminally insane. I went for 2 reasons. 1, I wanted an insight into the criminal mind. 2, my agent is a fucking idiot, right? I thought it was a village on the outskirts of Reading, for fuck's sake. This is all online. Like me and the other comedian, who is called, wait for it, Ray Peacock. Right now, some of you are ahead of me, because comedians are cruel. He's now known for the rest of his life on the comedy circuit as Ray Peacock, right? I feel sorry for his brother Chris. Yeah, Chris Peacock, right? Proper joke. So we turn up, me, Ray Picard, we're told, well, it's 60 paranoid schizophrenics and you guys. So I'm thinking, well, what could possibly go wrong? Right, this is a true story. I like to banter with people. I said to this one bloke, are you all right, mate? He went, I'm paranoid, mate, I'm paranoid. I was like, yeah, and we all knew you were going to say that. And he got fuck all. Now, bear in mind that there's a thing in comedy, there's an offstage mic thing called the Voice of God announcement, right? Like the DJ did earlier on, the manager of the venue. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, your compere Max Dickens. Well, that's a Voice of God announcement. The woman in charge said, oh, we don't have a compere, but we're going to get someone to do a Voice of God announcement. In a room full of paranoid schizophrenics, ladies and gentlemen. So now I'm quite intimidated. Did you shout out Billy Idol then?
What?
Why did you shout out Billy Idol? What, shouting out Billy Idol? Okay. That's fine. It's not that I don't have stock heckle put downs, I do. But I'm just genuinely worried about you now. Anyway, back to me. So I'm in Broadmoor and it's pretty much like this, slightly confusing. But I'm ploughing through it to the best of my ability, thinking, well, it's all right. I'm getting paid. I'll be home at about 12:30, and I've got a long week ahead.
Your day release.
No. No, definitely not on day release. Otherwise, I wouldn't be having a long week ahead, would I? I'm not having a go, but I need to point out the inherent logic or lack of it in your sentence there. I feel like one half of the slightly retarded Chuckle Brothers, actually. I'm not having a go. If he's special, I do fucking apologise, man. Don't even kiss him, see if you can taste window, because I don't want to cause any more offence. I'm not having a go. I was shopping in Sainsbury's the other day. I saw his name on a loaf of bread, but they spelt it wrong. It said thick cut. Now I can do this all fucking night. In fact, fuck the comedy. Fuck the comedy. Let's have a Q&A. Last year, I did nearly an hour last year of people. I got people in order of size to fucking hackle me last year. I knew it was going to be like this. There's no point in coming to Swindon trying to do material. No fucking point. Look what we got to work with. No disrespect. Yeah, I'm a lazy guy. I'm fucking talking to you. Jeez.
I thought this was stand-up.
I know, and I don't speak wanker, but we'll move on, you see? It's as simple as that.
Stand-up comedy, my art.
No, I know, absolutely stand-up comedy your arse. I'm doing my fucking best here, Paul. We can't all knock people out with 3 fucking punches.
You get me, lad.
I get you, but I'd rather I didn't. So I'm in Broadmoor, thinking, well, Swindon ain't going to be any more difficult than this. I mean, the woman in charge said to me, oh, they're going to be able to just come up to you and start talking. So this guy came up to me, and he said to me, where are you from? I said, I'm from Cornwall. He said, so am I. I went to shake hands with him, not making it up, true story, but if you feel the need to heckle at any point, do, because it's your night.
Did he sit down?
Sorry? Did who sit down?
Did he sit down when you went shaking his hand?
No, I was stood up. I was hoping that the people in here could use their imagination. Because they've probably shaken people's hands in the past. As opposed to stalk them at bus stops. Which should have got a bigger laugh than it did. No, I was stood up. I was stood up. It's like an audience watching you at the moment. Like that, is that alright? Not on the stage, he was off stage. He came up to me and he went to shake hands with me, or I had to shake hands with him. His hand came out like that, in slow motion, right? Like that, very slow. Maybe not that slow, might have been a little bit quicker, I don't know. But guess what? They're going to understand the joke anyway. No, you will. No, you're going to get it now. It's not there yet. It's not there yet now, but you watch now. They'll get this. They'll like this. Right. You want to know that? he grabbed my things like that and he pushed it shut like that and he went, no mate, in Broadmoor we do it like this, right? And he made me touch fists with him. And I felt disgusted. Because you can't even go to Broadmoor without meeting white kids who think them blood. I'm sorry, it is. It fucking well is. It is. It's good. I thought it was going to be fine. I thought I was going to bond with them, but no. Fuck me, I jumped off the stage 10 minutes in. That was a huge mistake. Jumping off the stage, they didn't care, they just carried on heckling. Do you know why? Because they're criminally insane. You're fucking shit! Oh yeah, but I've never murdered anybody. I mean, I didn't say that because we were told when we arrived, don't say anything that will remind them that they're in Broadmoor. Which meant, good evening, Broadmoor. Was out of the question. Hey guys, right, you know when you're having sex with a woman and she's consented? Hey, what's that all about? The woman in charge didn't like me. She walked behind the curtain. The first thing she said was, well, that wasn't very good, was it? You swore too much. It provoked them. I said, look, I'm really sorry. I tried my best. Well, there's no need to swear. I mean, you do know that we could have booked a magician instead of you. Like, what's going to provoke them more? Me saying fuck or a man sawing the woman in half? You want to provoke them, book an escapologist is what I'm saying. She didn't like me, I know that. She had an angry looking expression on her face, and for the 16 minutes and 22 seconds I made one joke last. She was mad. I thought it was a little bit insensitive of her to be stood at the back of the room signalling to me to stop by going like this. And after me we had the raffle. Because that's what you want when you're criminally insane. Fucking raffle. The patients were allowed to buy raffle tickets. The prizes were board games, two of which included Operation and Cluedo. And I stood next to, oh, I didn't even tell you that, fuck man. I stood next to Peter Bryan, the cannibal. You know where gigs going well, you can hear someone handing their mate a drink. It's fucking great, isn't it? I'd stood in the food queue next to Peter Bryan, the cannibal, right? Now, this all online. The Sun newspaper reckoned that we had sirloin steak. We didn't. Peter Bryan started to eat someone whilst he was in Broadmoor. Didn't bother trying to kill him, just started eating him. Yeah, I know, that's how shit the food was. And I recognised him, stood in the food queue next to him, thinking, fuck me, I actually know you. I've seen you in the Sun newspaper. You know, and all my heart just went out of the gig. I mean, a few years ago I went to see an anger management counsellor, right? It fucking worked. And I thought they were going to be able to relate to it, because I went with an open mind, and my anger management counsellor had a nasal twang. And it shouldn't be allowed. We're sat there in his office, he's got his John Lennon specs and his clipboard, and he says to me, well, first of all, we need to establish the types of things that make you angry. Keep talking, dickhead. So with that, and I've tried everything I possibly can, and this guy stands up, and I wish to God I could do it justice. This is all true. He stands up and he goes, sane man! In the insane world, your sanity, brother, it means nothing to me. Nothing to me.
Life.
How the fuck am I supposed to deal with that, right? Then, I had the best heckle I've ever had in my life. I swear to God, somebody shouted out, eat him, Peter. So, when I say I'm glad to be here, I genuinely mean it. I was...
this guy.
No, it's fine. I was sort of... I don't know, man, that's pretty much my time. It's very nice to be here. It's nice to be here. It does mean a lot to me. Happy New Year to you all. You know, I'm going to call it a fucking 1-0 away win. You know, but I'll tell you something now. I like coming to Swindon. You confuse me, and I'll be back every fucking year, all right? Take care of yourself.